Say something, Gote.
1, 2, 3.
Okay,
Hello.
yeah. Okay, because maybe someone muted their microphone. Anja. Did you mute your microphone just now? Okay. Let me make sure we keep Gote
Oh,
up on top. Well, as they say in the help, you is important.
so then I would like to see you all on top of this. I'm really not doing this for me. So I think it's the right time to start. Welcome everyone, and welcome everyone who's watching this later with the recording, as I'm normally doing. Jundo needs to travel today and asked me to take his role and not do anything too disgusting. And I will try my best. No, he didn't ask me that. Today's topic, if you want so, is our recommended nurturing seeds practice, as we've been talking about that quite often in the past weeks and months, given the situation in the world and all the emotions that are coming up. So I thought I could say a few words on that and the origin of it and how it ties into our practice that we are normally doing. So with that, I think we can start. Bjorn, if you would be so good to be my Ino. Thank you.
Are you switching cameras? Yeah.
Yes, sir. It only takes an hour. There I am.
The heart of the perfection of great wisdom, Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, awakened one of compassion, in Prajnaparamita, the deep practice of perfect wisdom, perceive the emptiness of all five conditions and was free of suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form, form is precisely emptiness, emptiness precisely form, sensations, perceptions, formations, and consciousness are also like this. O Shariputra, all things are expressions of emptiness, not born, not stained, not pure, neither waxing nor waning. Thus emptiness is not form, not sensation nor perception, not formation nor consciousness, no eye, ear, no tongue, body, mind, no sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, nor object of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of consciousness, no ignorance, no end to ignorance, no old age and death, no cessation of old age and death, no suffering, nor cause or end to suffering, no path, no wisdom, and no gain, no gain. Thus bodhisattvas live this Prajnaparamita with no hindrance of mind, no hindrance, therefore no fear, far beyond all delusion. Nirvana is already here. Past, present, and future Buddhas live this Prajnaparamita and realize supreme and complete enlightenment. Therefore know that Prajnaparamita is the sacred mantra, the luminous mantra, the supreme mantra, the incomparable mantra by which all suffering is clear. This is no other than truth. Therefore set forth the Prajnaparamita mantra, set forth this mantra and proclaim Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhi, Soaka, Hanya, Shingyo. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, reality existing right here now. In reciting the Heart of the Perfection of Great Wisdom Sutra, we dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni Buddha, Honored One, the historical Buddha and teacher, and to those ancestral teachers, Eihei Dogen Honored One, Soji Keizan Honored One, all successive Honored Ones up until Zuigaku Rempo Honored One, and Gudo Afu Honored One, and to all other Honored Ones throughout history, same yet diverse Honored Ones, whose names have been forgotten or left unsaid. We also dedicate these efforts to the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, to all awakened ones and teachers in all places and times. We especially seek tranquility and well-being for all creatures now suffering or ill in health. May they be serene through all their ills. May their lives be at peace and wisdom pervade the darkness of ignorance. We dedicate our hopes and aspirations to all victims of war and violence and natural events, to the injured and to all families touched by these tragedies, to the healing of hatred in all countries and among all peoples, to the wisdom and compassion of our world leaders, to the peace of the world and harmony of all beings. Thus, let the harmful effects of words, thoughts, and actions be dispelled, and compassion bloom in perpetual spring. May we all realize and live the enlightened way together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Maha Prajna Paramita.
Zazen. KINHIN. Please take your time, raise slowly, don't trip over the foot that is fallen asleep. To say it with Roshi's words, we'll have Zazen and a little talk. Nurturing seeds is one of the practices we recommend at Treeleaf. There is a detailed description of how that might work in the practices section of the forum. Of course, nurturing seeds is not our core practice. That remains shikantaza, just sitting. And nurturing seeds is something completely different and not even something you would normally consider being part of Soto Zen. But we've talked about it often in the past weeks or months regarding the situation in the world and us fighting with difficult emotions and emotions running wild and what one could do to cope with it, to not act on that. And nurturing seeds was mentioned several times, so I thought I would try to say a bit about it and a bit about the origins of it and how that relates to shikantaza. And at the same time, Jundo asked me to jump in for him today. I happened to read a book from the Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh about understanding our mind. And I had conversations in the Sangha about Yogacara, a Buddhist school, at the same time. And this all ties together and is the same story in a way. Nurturing seeds is something that Thich Nhat Hanh recommended. And it's connected to Yogacara, to the idea of how thoughts and emotions and actually the whole world as our consciousness perceives it works. Those being the result of seeds we planted in our mind. The practice itself is basically about sprouting seeds of negative and positive emotions in our mind and watering and nurturing those we think beneficial and drying out those we think harmful. Meeting anger with tolerance and loving kindness, fear with equanimity and courage, greed with contentment, generosity, frustration with acceptance, and so forth. Transferring suffering at its root, the seed that sprouts. When anger arises and we feed it with an inner dialogue of why and what and who and how, then the anger gets stronger. But if we see anger as a passing seed, we can pause, breathe, choose not to water it, and it weakens. When we spot a seed of tolerance or loving kindness, we can cultivate those thoughts or actions and make them grow stronger. Being mindfully aware of seeds that are present and their development can be a constant thing in everyday life and not an isolated moment of practice. Actively, consciously mindfully working with mental formations seems pretty far from our core practice, from Shikantaza on the first look. We do not force ourselves to eliminate thoughts, nor do we cling to them. We let them arise and fall away on their own, much like a gardener watching the seasons change. Although nurturing seeds is typically not emphasized in Soto, and obviously can't be practiced with Shikantaza at the same time, I can see how it fits naturally together, how awareness and non-attachment that Shikantaza teaches us fits into it. So, what is this Yogacara school and its seeds and mind and consciousness ideas? In the 4th century, there was a monk named Vasubandhu who had a huge influence on Buddhism in general. He's associated with Abhidharma earlier in his life and very much with Yogacara, the mind-only or consciousness-only school. I think he was trying to combine early Buddhist psychology and phenomenology with the Mahayana ideas of collective and universal liberation. In early Buddhism, there are many explanations of how the mind and the consciousness might work and how to handle it to stay well. Quite complicated mechanical and formal systems. The approach of the branch of Buddhism Zen as part of the Mahayana seems pretty different. Such formal complexity is met with the idea of direct awakening and looking through everything in an instant. So why is there the need for such a system? Everything is already realization. You just need to notice, you just need to look through it. No need for a gradual path of development. Zen has such a Mahayana flavor of immediacy and simplicity, of non-system, non-method. But I'm also with Vasubandhu in seeing those two approaches not excluding each other. The combination might be more useful than each of its own. It fits with my own experience, and judged from the recommending of the nurturing seeds practice, I'm not alone with that. Zen Shikantaza is powerful in realizing the delusion of being separate from other things. It helps realization of interdependence, interconnection, intimacy with everything, a place of liberation, touching the ungraspable. But it's not talking much about emotions and psychology. There's quite some rubble in our way to actually realize such off the cushion. For me, it has proven useful to look at those early Buddhist psychology methods and maps of emotional landscapes. I think the mindfulness movement and some other meditation schools are more oriented towards the psychological side, but they can maybe use some of the altruism and emphasis on collective liberation that we have in Mahayana. That our practice is for the benefit of everyone, and that we are doing always things that affect everyone else, whatever it is, as part of this interconnected system. It's pretty easy to get caught up in our own little world otherwise. Knowledge in the mind-only school is not independent from our experience and conditioning. The seeds that are growing in the field of my mind shape my opinion. There is no absolute truth my mind can possess. Yogacara knows a model of 8 consciousnesses, more than the 6 we are usually talking about, the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, which is touch, and mind. It adds manas, that is our perception of a self that is looking at other things, the ego-clinging mind. And it adds what nurturing seeds come from, the alaya consciousness or storehouse consciousness, the storehouse of karma, of action. It sees it as the deepest layer of mind, like a karmic repository where all past actions, thoughts, experiences are stored as seeds. It does not actively think or discriminate, but it holds all the potential experiences we can have, all the seeds that ripen and sprout when the condition is right. Interesting way of looking at karma, I think. Some believe this consciousness continues after death, the storehouse consciousness, carrying karmic traces to further existences. Those seeds can be of many different kinds. They can be genetic, cultural, based on individual experiences and thoughts and actions. Everything we do, learn and experience. All thoughts, emotions and reactions arise from those stored seeds when they ripen and enter conscious experience. I believe the Buddha is cited in the Pali Canon with the sentence, "Karma once created will never be extinct until it is directly experienced." In this context, it could mean that you are deemed to repeat past actions, the seeds, until you directly perceive them as what they are, like being annoyed from the political opinion of a certain person. If you don't see the seed of the emotion itself, but react to what you see in front of you, the person approaching you, you will be annoyed of the person, even if they say nothing and do nothing. You are just nourishing that seed again and again, and it will grow stronger and stronger. There's no need to agree with that person, but you can see the fruit of karma and shift your attention from this to realizing what is going on, that you are angry because of karma, because of the seeds. You can be intimate with that energy that is coming up instead, and it can exhaust itself. And you are actually planting new seeds of compassion through just being with this emotion. I believe this is what nurturing seeds can teach us, being mindful of emotional states themselves, not just the cognitive content that goes with it. Hard to do though. Practice not only isolated, like it's suggested in the Nurturing Seeds practice in the forum, but using that to practice it and use it through all of life. So how does Nurturing Seed relate to Shikantaza then, that we will be sitting in a moment when I stop interrupting you? It's something different, but I think it complements each other. Shikantaza can lead to direct realization. Practice and realization, not two different things. It is not that tedious, active analyzing and digging through emotions and reactions. It can break through all of this in an instant. When reading Shobogenzo Busho, Buddha Nature, it seems to me that Master Dogen would maybe think of the storehouse consciousness and nurturing seeds as an unnecessary abstraction or complication. Our sitting is not directed to any outcome. It is enough in itself, it is perfect, complete, yet it is teaching us so much. When being more mindful of these seeds, of how they work in everyday life, maybe this is how I can take some aspects of Shikantaza with me off the cushion. The continuation of this practice of radical openness, direct seeing and experiencing. Itself, Shikantaza neither nurtures or suppresses, but shows what is there. By just sitting, we learn to see the earliest formation of thoughts, the seeds, before they ripen into habitual reactions. The awareness of Shikantaza itself is transformative. We stop reinforcing patterns, and they can weaken. Sitting with no preference, we become aware of subtle movements in consciousness, We notice the impulse to engage in a thought and gently return to open awareness and presence. We experience the impermanence of thoughts, watch them arise, fall away. The need to react softens. Over time, our entire garden of consciousness changes, but not through force, through clarity. Let's sit. Please take it slow. Give me a moment to offer some incense and let us atone for our past misdeeds and vow to do better together.
All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by masons of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable.
Thank you for sitting together, everyone.
Accident.
No, wonderful. Emotions.
Enlightenment, ding, ding, ding.
Was wonderful to come together. Thank you very much. What could I announce? What's happening in the next days? Sunday in the European mornings, I guess that is somewhere in the night for Canadians and US folks. There is another Zazenkai later that day, which is, I guess, in the morning Eastern time, somewhere around 9 a.m. There will be our Sunday Sitting for Peace, led by Washin, I hope. If he can, there are a lot of attacks on Odessa, where he's living at the moment. So he will do his best. What else could I say? One of our Sangha members is very ill and in the ECU at the moment. And I think it's a good idea to send some matter, to think about them. Yeah. If you want to stay for a tea, please do.
Very important business. Look at the
Yes.
forum carefully, everyone.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot. Please say.
We have a retreat planned for the first weekend of April, which means we will not have our monthly Zazenkai, the 4-hour Zazenkai, on that Friday. We're going to do the retreat on Saturday, and this one is a special one. It's different than how we've done them ever. It's meant to work for both European and North American time zones. It's sort of like running two retreats. So when the European one ends, the American one begins, but Europeans can continue. So I'm hoping it's going to be wonderful, and I'm hoping to see many of you there. You can come sit a little bit. You can come sit all of it. The schedule is basically 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah, it's a bit different than the Rohats one we've had. So we will not have Samu and Oryoki units. It's more focused on ceremony and sitting. So if you just have an hour or two and want to jump in somewhere, you will not jump into needing to eat or clean up. You can have the ceremony you're sitting, right? It should fit for everyone who has just a bit time. Yeah. So if you want to stay for a tea, do so. I will be here. If not, I wish you a wonderful day. Bye.